I'm Steve Mizerany. Don't be confused. You're watching Worldwide Magazine.
Stay tuned for a very special edition of America's favorite family program, Worldwide Magazine. Today on Worldwide Magazine, we have a special Salute to St. Louis show featuring some of St. Louis's greatest personalities. So don't touch that dial. You could be making the biggest mistake of your life. On today's Worldwide Magazine, meet Chuck Norman, founder of WGNU, Slim Cox of Slim and Zella May's Furniture, everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Leonard, and George Edick, founder of the Club Imperial. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another edition of Worldwide Magazine with today's guest host, Steve Mizerany.
That guy wouldn't know a refrigerator from a phone booth.
And the good thing about having Steve Mizerany as our guest host is that our audience will be spared needless hype.
I'm Steve Mizerany. I'm down here at Mangia's Italiano, 3145 South Grand, 1.5 block of Arsenal. World-famous restaurant. Let me show you what we got on display. We've got noodles. We've got Marco Polo there. We got whole wheat ties. What is that, Doc? Whole wheat ties. Yeah, all right. We got everything down here. If anybody wants to have a good time and want to eat good, come on to Mangio's Italiano on Grand Avenue. And we'll be here sitting down with you people.
Forget about that refrigerator. Forget about that refrigerator. Forget about that refrigerator. Forget about that refrigerator.
That guy wouldn't know a refrigerator from a phone booth.
You got a bathroom here?
Yeah, sure.
Can I use it?
Sure.
Excuse me.
Run around there to the back. I say, I catch your show on Channel 15 every once in a while, Pete, when I can tolerate it, but you have some of the most stupidest, ridiculous shows on there sometimes I've ever tried to watch.
Well, we're making a show with Steve today.
Well, that still is stupid.
We got a world-famous fellow right here today with us, Slim and Zella May Cox. This is Slim.
Yes, sir.
Looking good, Slim.
Thank you there, Steve. Thank you.
And I heard you broke all the records in sales last year.
I broke the Slim and Zella May Cox record, yes, sir, right here at the store.
And I understand you have another record.
Got another.
Not advertised.
Well, yeah, but we don't want to talk about that.
All right, Slim, look at this here.
Yes.
Slim, how you doing on them records, and how
Real
did you get
fine.
the name Slim?
Well, it all started
You're a big
back...
fat ass.
Watch that. No, back when I first started, everybody had to have a nickname. There was Slim Perkins, Slim Whitman, Slim Rhodes, and so I thought Slim Cox sounded good.
That's a very good name, Slim. How's your records going on, Slim?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Keep them in stock.
You're on the radio, and I see you on TV.
Yeah, right.
I see you all over, you and Zella May.
Zella May, yeah.
And the gospel music is just doing
Yes.
great, and your furniture. In fact, I was looking around and seeing the prices. You're way cheaper than anybody I've seen on
Way
prices.
cheaper. Home-owned, home-operated.
Yeah, how do you do that? You know, they got these big stores and all
Well,
that.
I own my building, and we've been here over 21 years, and, you know, we do our own delivery and everything just fine, you know. I mean, we can
Wow.
save money.
I mean, look at that chair there. You're way cheaper than
Yeah.
these so-called big fancy stores
Oh, yeah.
with them big shots walking around.
Yeah.
Hey, they don't even wait on you.
That's right.
You
That's
wait
right.
on yourself.
You're right. You're a name here, not a number.
Well, Slim and Zella May Cox.
Is this going to be on Pete's show?
Yeah, Worldwide Magazine. Yeah.
Well, I'll have to
Big
try it.
Daddy, that big fat pig's on that show, too.
Tell me about it. I'll have to try to watch
Pete
it.
Parisi here. Hey, listen, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Before
you
we
sure?
turn the cameras on, you were saying, I understand, I wasn't here, I just got here,
Oh,
but
the
you were
camera's not on, is it?
saying some real good things about the show. Could you tell us what you were saying?
Camera's not on, is it?
No, it's not on.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say that sometimes I'm twisting the dial, and I get you, and sometimes you're invariable to watch. I mean, you act like some kind of an idiot. What makes you act like that?
I've been hanging out with Steve.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and sometimes it's enticing. I want to watch you to see what's going to happen next because, you know, I mean, somebody, you know, just ain't no telling what's going to happen on your show. What is it called? Let me see.
Worldwide Magazine, Slim.
Yeah, that's,
How can you forget
I mean,
that?
worldwide. How many stations you on now?
We're all over the world and Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
All over the world and Eastern Europe. Well, this will be high Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you go ahead and talk,
Yeah, all
Steve.
right.
Well, try to sober up, Pete.
Well-
Would you? I mean, tell Big Daddy hi.
Big Daddy, that
Yeah.
big rhinoceros. Listen, Slim, it's sure great to see you again.
Well, it's good
You know,
to see
I
you,
was
Pete.
down there. First time I met you was about 20 years ago with Bernie Sherman. Remember
Yes,
Bernie?
sir.
Bernie's quite a guy.
Selling Gibson washers and dryers.
And you end up selling me a Gibson
Yes, sir.
washer and dryer.
Yes,
You're
sir.
quite a salesman, Slim.
Thank you,
And
thank
tell
you,
my
Steve.
best to Zella May.
Thank
will
you,
ya?
Steve.
Okay, let's get out of here, Pete.
It's wonderful, wonderful. And one of the records that Slim has, he sells a lot of records. Hold that, where's that record? Right. Slim has a lot of records, including, if you get down to 12th and Clark, he has a police record for the police department. And here's a good record. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but here is Slim and Zella May. They're getting on a bus. Now listen, Steve. We should have got Slim to advertise on our new show because, you know, he's a country guy. He's not that, you know, he doesn't have, you know, he's from the country. He doesn't have all his faculties.
Yeah.
You know, and they're the most gullible.
Why do you say that? You're smoking that doggone cigarette. You must be gullible. Put that damn cigarette out.
Now listen. With my brains and your salesmanship ability, you know, Steve, you're the number one salesman in St. Louis.
My hair all messed up.
Steve, let me ask you something. Why did you get into the appliance business, these many years ago?
Well, you want me to be frank and honest with
Yeah, I
you,
want you to
Pete?
be
All
frank
right.
and honest.
My brother Joe Mizerany put us all in the appliance business. And we gathered from him that these people out there need help. These poor people that couldn't make their payments or have problems, we always helped them out. We wanted to help the factory people that are working.
And you like the guy on the second shift?
We get the guy on the second shift. We got everybody.
You like he comes home from work?
That's right. He
and
comes
like,
home from
A
work.
hard day at the factory.
That's
He likes
right.
to enjoy the good things in life.
That's
And
right.
you helped him have those things.
That's right. You ain't kidding.
Like a microwave.
But the appliance business has been very good. The people in St. Louis have been very good to all of Mizerany. We've done real well, and that's why we like to continue on doing good for the people.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, this beautiful Chrysler car you have certainly works good in this bad weather.
It's a four-wheel drive Chrysler. What do you think it
Well,
is?
where'd you get this from again? I
From
forgot.
Melville Chrysler
Oh,
Plymouth.
Melville
the
Chrysler.
Big Geese.
Right, yeah, right. That's a wonderful store.
The Big Geese.
Oh, yeah. If I was ever going to buy a car,
On
I'd go
Lee
there.
Ferry Road.
Right, yeah, in Lee May. If I was ever going to buy a car, I'd buy it there.
That's right. You get service after the sale. I don't know where I lost my damn comb at again. Always losing the comb.
Well, it's
I
better
lose
than
about
losing
20
your hair.
combs a week.
Well, losing a comb is better than losing your hair.
Well, I lose that too every.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Big Daddy once again. I'm up here at Leonard Munt's Uncle Leonard's at 6800 Natural Bridge. I come up to check out a big screen television, which, you know, Uncle Leonard is the only man in town who can give a person 50 inches, if you know what I mean. And I'm so proud to introduce the next two gentlemen here. These people are legends representing over 100 years of service to you people here in St. Louis. And right now I want to take away Steve Mizerany talking to Uncle Leonard.
All right, I want you folks to meet the #1 man in the world, known throughout Asia, Africa, North Korea, and all over. Uncle Leonard.
St. Louis, too.
Yeah,
by
he
golly.
said,
Yeah.
Uncle Leonard, tell us some of them famous jokes.
Well, you know, I was at the party the other day, Chuck Norman's party, and I went to the first one 15 years ago. But, you know what, times sure have changed. I met a beautiful girl there 15 years ago. When I saw her the other night with Steve, she's a guy now. That's how people change a lot.
Uncle Leonard. Uncle Leonard, you got a beautiful display here of all your merchandise. You got one of the best displays of electronics, tapes, and everything I've seen. Nobody has
Steve,
that.
I've been in business, he said 100 years. I've been here 5 years. Steve is 95 years. So there's 100 years between us. I'm only kidding you.
That's
Steve
right,
is
that's
younger
right,
than I
Uncle
am.
Leonard.
And-
I tell you, you got a Christmas tree over there. Where do you get a Christmas tree? It's not Christmas
Well,
now.
it's Hanukkah. We're the first people. I want to wish everybody that's listening again a Happy New Year, and I want to be the first to wish them a Merry Christmas for 1991 in case I'm not around, because you're the nicest people in St. Louis, and I'm not afraid of competition. These cockers come here in St. Louis like Schmilo's and Schmest and what's the other one? Schmirket City. They're a bunch of schmageggies. They come here, they hustle you, they high pressure you, they charge you for service policy.
They don't even wait on you, Uncle
That's
Leonard.
right.
They
You
have
walk
nobody
around.
to
I
service
disguised the other day. I went around with glasses on. It took me 20 minutes before they come over and wanted to wait on me. They're a bunch of schmageggies. They're from out of town. We've been in business. Steve and I have been in business all together. He lied. Not 100 years, 120 years here. See, God bless me.
That's right. God bless you, and your mother-in-law will thank you. Ain't it,
Yeah,
Uncle
I've got a
Leonard?
bunch of money. I tell you, I like girls over 40. You know why? They don't yell, they don't tell, they don't swell, and they appreciate like hell. You see those big screens? I'm the only guy that can give a girl 50 inches. TV, I mean. Don't get excited now. The greatest thing since penicillin, these Panasonics. The greatest thing. They'll last you a lifetime if you never use them. We're not like the Schmest or the Schmilo or the Schmirket City here. We've been in business for 41 years here, and we take good care of you here. So come see Uncle Leonard, and you'll thank me, you'll bless me. God bless you. Come by and see me. I want all
Give
you...
us that address and phone number, Uncle Leonard.
6800 Natural Bridge. We're open every night till 8 o'clock for you beautiful... You've heard of doctors that give house calls. Uncle Leonard gives you a house call. I've been doing this for 41 years here. We come to the home here. A lot of you people can't come out in this crazy weather here. You call me, and I'll personally come to your home and give you a free home demonstration. I'm the only man in St. Louis that can give a girl 51 inches. TV, I mean. Don't get excited, ladies.
That's right, girls.
Okay. And
Give them the address and phone number.
6800 Natural Bridge. We had a beautiful selection of videotapes. We have over 10,000 different tapes. And I got a news for you. If you're 90 years old, you bring your mother and father, Uncle Leonard, I'll give you a 50-inch TV absolutely free. I was going with this Jewish girl, and she died, and she left money. She says, buy me a stone. I bought that. That isn't bad, is it? Right? That's not bad, see? But I'll tell you a true story. If I'm lying, I'm dying about.
I'm Steve Mizerany. Me and Joe Farratt are always shaving prices at the low deal, at the new deal. Right, Joe?
I'm Joe Farratt. Me and Steve and our boys are only at 4719 Gravois, and a Bevo Mill's next to us, guys.
That's our cousin Bill King, who's with Dr. Pepper. Remember, there's always free Dr. Pepper and House of Window cigars at the new deal. I'm Steve Mizerany. Me and Joe Farratt and our boys at the new deal are always turning our inventory over. That's why you can always get a good deal at the new deal. For prompt and speedy service, we always rush to serve you. So follow me and Joe Farratt for the best deal. It's only at the new deal. Don't be confused. There's only one new deal. We don't bait and we don't switch. No sales commission. Free Dr. Pepper and House of Wizard Seeker. All right, I might run across a good friend of mine, Doctor. What's the matter? Dr. Biff Koplar, world famous doctor. What are you doing up here at Uncle Leonard's, Doc?
Well, I work for Uncle Leonard. I have a part-time job, weekends, when, my practice has been kind of slow. I don't know.
What do you mean you're world famous? You work at all them hospitals. You're a surgeon. You cut people open, and you're down here?
Well, it's tough. People haven't been getting sick like they used to, Steve. I don't know. Maybe you ought to come in. Maybe I could do something about that growth on your head there.
Yeah. Listen, I want to tell all these nice people, seriously, if you need a TV, Uncle Leonard's the only guy that'll give them a 5-year service policy. You shop around, you come see Uncle Leonard, and you'll thank me, you'll bless me.
So the sooner you get here, the better off we'll both be.
I'm Steve Mizerany. Me and Joe Farratt are always shaving prices at the low deal, at the new deal.
Steve is my best friend here. Steve's going to come and help me here.
Hey, I'm King Kong, Brody. I've been shopping the whole country. I want to know your best deal. We got the best deal in town, Brody. You know that.
King Kong Brody?
Don't pull my leg. I want to know your lowest prices. We still got the best prices. This ain't no joke. The good deal boys do have the lowest prices. That's right.
Pin Steve and Joe down to a good deal at the new deal in North and South St. Louis.
The Lincoln boys do have the best deal in town.
Uncle Leonard gives $1,000 away. Here's $1,000 for the cameraman. Here, Steve. Here's $1,000 for Steve. Come here. Remember Rockefeller, that cheapskate, used to give away dimes. Doc, here, I give everybody $1,000. Money don't mean a damn thing. You make a man that makes $8 million. He's as happy as a guy in 8 and making $9 million, see? And don't worry, I just talked to Vince Coleman there, and he told me to wish everybody a happy New Year. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I just talked to him on the phone.
Hey, I ain't got the gout, and I ain't got the rickets. I only got square deal down here at the new deal. Me and Joe Farratt is only at that 4719 Gravois with the Bevo Mill.
Take a picture of that 51-inch TV over there.
4719 Gravois with the Bevo Mill next door to us. We don't bake, we don't switch down here. We got free lighted park and house winter cigar.
Come by and say hello. I don't care whether you buy anything or not, as long as you nice people come in here. That's what it's all about. The only reason I work, I meet nice people like you folks that are in television land. So
remember, there's always free Dr. Pepper and house winter cigars at the new deal.
Thanks a lot, Father. You fellas are beautiful. I'm sorry I took up so much of my time, but
I'm Steve Mizerany. Me and Joe Farratt are always shaving prices at the low deal, at the new.
I said, what's the problem? He said, what's the problem? I said, I couldn't sleep. I want my money back. He said, what's the problem? I said, you give the damn girl in the next room, you gave her candy bars all night long. She's screaming, oh, Henry, oh, Henry, oh, Henry, kept me awake all night. I want my money back. But I got lucky once in a while, that son of a gun. Don't ever stay in that hotel.
Two greats in the world of St. Louis television advertising, Uncle Leonard and Steve Mizerany. You're watching a very special edition of Worldwide Magazine with today's guest host, Steve Mizerany. We'll be back with more stuff from Steve in a little while.
We're at the Chuck Norman Christmas party. We're here at the Clarion. Before we go inside, come over here, Larry. We're with Larry Von Slees, of course. And we want to take a quick peek at the world-famous Steel Guitar Hall of Fame. Here it is, the steel. It's kind of weird that it's here at this place, but here it is. It's Alvino Ray. I really never heard of any of these people. Sal Hoppy. I guess he's one of the board members. Sal Hoppy. And here's Herb Remington. This is the Steel Guitar Hall of Fame. Why don't you take a picture of that, Larry? Show the whole sign so everybody knows we're not kidding, that this really is the Steel Guitar Hall of Fame. Okay, well, we saw the Steel Guitar Hall of Fame. Let's go into the Chuck Norman party. Well, we're at the Clarion Hotel, and we're at the Chuck Norman Christmas party for handicapped people, and we're with a very interesting gentleman, one of the WGNU regulars. Who are we speaking to?
Norman Cohn, C-O-N-E.
And tell us about yourself, Norman. What do you do?
I work at a shell workshop on 61 Manchester. I call in on WGNU radio programs, talk shows, and I call in on Pat Burns' Hotline Talk Show.
Okay, great. Now, here we have, ladies and gentlemen, for your edification and for your enjoyment, Mr. Norman Cohn and the kazoo. Go ahead, Norman. Well, right now, on a really incredibly bad weather day here in St. Louis, we're with a man that always has a warm heart no matter what the weather is. And, of course, we're talking to the legendary Chuck Norman. Nice to meet you, Chuck.
Good to you, Pete, too, because I've seen you so many times on television. In fact, as I say, you're one of my favorite TV stars.
Well, that's hard to believe, but I'm glad you're saying it. How long have you been in radio, Chuck?
Oh, many, many years. I hate to even say how long, but it's many years. It goes back to, actually, 1948, I'm sorry to say. So I've been around for a long time. We put WGNU on the air in 1961. And so, in fact, just a few weeks ago, we observed our 29th birthday. December 1st, 1961 is when we went on the air. And we've had this party this is our 15th year. 15th annual party.
Well, I guess it must have got really confused here with all the terrible weather. I guess it kept a lot of people from coming.
Oh, I should say, I'd say that, boy, it cut the attendance in half anyway, if not even more than that. In fact, I'm surprised that we've had as many as we have had, considering the weather. You know, just a steady snow, and oh, boy, so many people had to cancel out. But as I say, I think it's a reasonably good turnout, despite everything.
Well, it's a tribute to the power of WGNU that so many people would brave this horrible weather to come out and celebrate your party.
Yeah, I think so. And, of course, a lot of these people have been coming every year. It's kind of an event on their personal calendars that they want to come, and barring some kind of a catastrophe, they do come, and which is kind of nice for me, too, because I see a lot of people here, and I only see them once a year, and that's at this party, you know, so it's a nice thing. And, of course, we raise money for the handicapped children. We have about 14 different charities working on behalf of handicapped children that get the proceeds from it. So it's a nice thing, and we enjoy doing it. It's just regrettable that the weather was so horrible today.
Well, interestingly enough, WGNU, I would call it the alternative talk station in St. Louis, and you feature a lot of people on the station. I know you have a very strong bunch of regulars that are, you know, your own brand of people that are attracted to your station because you have let's say more of an open, freewheeling type of format.
Yes, I think you're right, Pete. We do. It's you know, we don't screen calls or anything. We just take all the calls that come along, no matter what they are, and deal with them. And plus, our station, I think, is unique in another respect in that we have so many different hosts. We have about, 15 or 20 or so different hosts. I can't even keep track of it myself necessarily, but I think that's pretty good too because it gives us so many divergent viewpoints, not only from the callers, but from the hosts themselves. So I think that works out pretty good, gives us a lot of variety.
Well, I listen to WGNU sometimes late at night. I notice you have some interesting music on there that you don't hear anywhere else. Are those your personal favorites?
Yes, as a matter of fact, they are. I'm glad you noticed that. These are records that I've picked out myself, and it goes back to my era, and I like the music we play, and thanks for noticing that. It's the kind of music that I personally like, and
it's off the mainstream because I'm very familiar with the music of that era. I'm a collector. I have many records from that time, and I'm constantly surprised how I hear so many versions of songs and songs themselves that I've never heard before. It seems to be, are those your own records?
No, they're not my own records. As a matter of fact, I get them from a record store in St. Louis on Hampton Record Exchange, Record Collectibles. It's got 2 stores, and that's really where we get them all. And for the most part, those are standards. Virtually every record we play is of a song that is recognizable, that is one that you might consider is a standard.
But different versions, though, many times.
That's right. A lot of different versions of the same song, too. Mm-hmm. And as I say, that's the music that I like, and I just hope that a lot of other people like it, too.
Nobody can beat me. I know the decent boys over at the New Deal, and the prices can't be beat. How do I know? Because I traveled all over the world wrestling and shopping. Hey! If you don't get the best deal, call me.
I'm George Edick of the Steve Mizerany New Deal Look-alike Contest. Here's our first contestant, James Bowen.
Hey, I ain't got the gout and I ain't got the rickets. I only got square deal down here at the New Deal, where me and Joe Fair's only at. That's 4719 Gravois, with the Bevo Mill's next door to us. And we don't bake and we don't switch down here. We got free lighted parking, house window cigar, Dr. Pepper for the kids. Hey, one knows those competitors out. Bottom low prices, don't be confused.
That guy wouldn't know a refrigerator from a phone booth.
Right now, we're continuing our whirlwind trip around St. Louis with Steve Mizerany. And we're at the Club Imperial right here at Goodfellow in West Florissant, a very, very famous club where they're having a wedding this afternoon. And we're going to turn the microphone over to George Edick, the manager and owner of the club, and Steve Mizerany, who are going to tell you more about what's happening at the Club Imperial.
It's Steve Mizerany out here at Worldwide Magazine out at the Club Imperial. I want to introduce you to Mr. Entertainment himself. He should be in Hollywood, but he's here taking care of all the people in St. Louis. George Edick himself. George.
Hello, Steve. How are you? And how's the cable television viewers? We happen to have something real great for you tonight. You see this lieutenant standing in back of me? Well, you know all the things that are going on in the Persian Gulf. Well, they've been down in the Persian Gulf. He's a lieutenant on one of the big steamers. I'm going to talk to him a minute with his lovely bride, Pam. Now, I'm going to interview him and let you take the picture. And you're the cameraman. Follow. This is strictly ad lib. And we have right here, his hometown is St. Louis, Missouri, and he's been shipped to the Gulf, the Persian Gulf. And I know what your name is, Robert West. What is your name, Robert West? You're a lieutenant. You give me the correct, what your position is down there.
Okay, I'm a Lieutenant JG in the Navy, and my name is Robert West.
And what ship are you on down there?
I'm on the USS Antietam. That's home ported out of Long Beach, California. It's one of the new Aegis cruisers that they have out in the fleet today.
When were you shipped down there?
Okay, Kuwait was invaded by Iraq approximately on August 2nd, and we were already out in the Gulf at that time. So I was down there at the very beginning, and we left sometime in the middle of November.
And we keep talking, and there's a beautiful young lady along with you, and where is she from?
She's from San Diego. I met her when I first got out to San Diego to do my initial training as an officer.
Well, I won't talk to you anymore. I'm going to talk to Pam Johnson, but now Pam West. And what's your name, Pam West?
Hello, my name's Pamela West.
Okay, listen. Congratulations on your wedding.
Thanks a lot.
Hope you have many more happy ones. I mean, not weddings, but anniversaries.
Yes.
When are you going back to Saudi Arabia?
Well, I don't know yet. We're on standby.
Well, good luck. I know you got a lot of stuff ahead of you if you go back there.
Yes, that's true.
Takes a lot of courage to go there.
Yes, it does. It's lonely, too, when you're away from the family.
Oh, especially that beautiful lady. I'd be lonely.
It's extremely lonely. But it's something we got to do. It's part of the job.
These people are out there risking their lives protecting our country from the Arabs.
No comment right now. But that's true. We are protecting the country, and you got some professionals out there right now. 100%.
If it wasn't for brave young men like this country would be overrun by those commies.
I'm proud of you and Joe Farratt at the New Deal, selling all-American-made Zenith Allegro sound systems.
That's right, Uncle Sam.
We carry all-American-made Zenith Allegro sound systems. We challenge all the foreign audio stereo component manufacturers to match the Zenith Allegro sound and our low prices.
Well, we're still here at George Edick's Club Imperial, and we just happened to run into one of our favorite persons in the world, relative. Who are we speaking to?
To Bob West, personal friend of Watt Davis, who at this time is incarcerated in the city of Selma, Alabama.
What's he in there for?
Well, I really don't know what the charges is. I haven't had a chance to call down and really find out. But we're thinking about putting together a group and going down in his behalf.
You're going to talk to the governor, you say?
We're going to have to talk to the governor because this thing has got out of hand.
Well, you know, all regular viewers of our program have noticed that Watt hasn't been with us lately. We haven't talked about it, but Watt is in prison in Selma, Alabama. And how long is that sentence for?
I think it was anywhere from 50 to 100 years.
I don't think Watt has 50 or 100 years, really.
Not to live that long, because lifespan won't probably, but unless we can get the governor to commute the sentence, right now that's where it stands.
Okay, so we all have our fingers crossed. We want to get Watt back. I guess prison life, he's been in prison a few times before, and I guess this time it's really serious. You know, prison life changes a man.
Well, that's true too, but under these new programs of rehabilitation, they got work release programs and stuff like that in prison now. So 95% of all prisoners that's incarcerated in the United States gets out back into society anyway.
Well, this gentleman over here, Big Daddy, was in the Rahway State Prison in New Jersey a few years ago. Why don't you talk to him about that?
Well, it's just like any other prison, you know. I was there for a couple, you know, mistakes that somebody else made, and that's all I can tell you about it. I don't know nothing about it.
I understand on your wing of the prison that everybody was innocent, right?
Everybody in the prison was innocent. Everybody in every prison is innocent. Just walk in and ask them, they'll tell you that. Is that right?
Well, usually that's what inmates of prison says, but society has incarcerated them for some reason.
Right. It's a mistake in most cases.
Yeah, well, it's public opinion of where the mistakes are concerned, but the lawyers have to make some money doing something.
Steve, you don't know what's happening here at the Club Imperial. I better get close to this mic, too, and I better hold it close to you.
Yeah, George, that's right. Nobody knows you better than me. I've been with you and knowing you and all the things that you have done for the club and for the greater St. Louis area. You've been doing it for 40 years, as long as I've known you. You had Ike Turner up here, you had Tina Turner, Chuck Berry, Stan Kenton. You go back way with the big bands and all these other big celebrities, too numerous to mention. And you had the Imperial Club dancers. You remember when you had, what was that called years ago? Teddy Cole was in it.
Oh, the Harvest Moon Festival.
That's it, yeah. Oh, boy, that was something.
We're going to start that pretty soon.
Are you? And all I can tell everybody out there, everybody knows George Edick. They know the Club Imperial. And people that I have met, George, that were little bitty kids that are growing up, I say, you know my buddy George Edick? They'll say, yeah, we know George Edick from the Club Imperial. So you're a legend here, George. You're a legend in St. Louis.
Well, I might say this. You used to tell me this, Steve, long time ago. I says, boy, everybody knows you, Steve. And but you used to tell me, fine, it's nice to be known, but it's always nice to have that money in the bank, too, isn't it?
Hey, George, you remember when they kicked us off of TV when we caught the studio on fire? We put that wood alcohol on that washer, and that washer caught the... and you were directing then, and you had to come out with a fire extinguisher and put the fire out, and that was live before there were any video or any of that stuff.
That was called Party Time at Club Imperial.
Yeah.
We thought we could be real big, and that was back in the 50s, before videotape. When you went on, you were live.
That's right. That's why they kicked us off of the air. We caught their whole station on fire. My brother Joe had to talk to Harry Tenenbaum to get us back on the air, remember?
I remember that real well. I do know this, back in those days, you didn't have all this videotape like you have here. Now, these guys want to cut me off, they can cut me off anytime they want to. But in those days, we had to do it live. And this guy right here, Steve Mizerany, I'll tell you the little story about that. Steve and Joe had the Mizerany stores down on South Broadway. And that was back in the early 50s, and television was just starting to get big. And they told me, they says, George, we're tired of these announcers doing commercials for us one day, Lazar and Sons the next day, and somebody else the next day, or later on, and then telling us each one, they're always all the best. And how can we all be the best if he's telling commercials for us? We want to do our own television. I says, Joe, fine. Who do you want to do the television? Who's the biggest ham? He says, here he is, Steve Mizerany.
They says, Have Steve do the commercial. He doesn't know any better. Remember, George?
That's right. Well, I know when we went down, incidentally, we did have a lot of firsts, believe this or not. When we went down there, we didn't have this video. We had to do it on 16 millimeter and then take it over to the television, and they had regular 16 millimeter cameras that show it on television. And so when we went down there, he had opened up a warehouse right next door and put all his warehouse goods next door, next to his sales room. So we come up with the bright idea, why don't we call it Warehouse Showroom?
Right.
And I will say...
My brother Joe Mizerany did that.
The Mizeranys, I'm going to say the Mizeranys, but I'm a little part of it, but said, well, let's come up with the Warehouse Showroom, and now it's being used all over the world now, and that was the first time it was ever used.
Right.
And then he was the first time anybody, a salesman, ever went on television. When they told me he was going to go on television, I says, well, Joe, you know, Steve's going to have to join the union. They had unions in those days now. And I says, he's going to have to learn to speak a little better. So he says, well, that's all fine. I heard a laugh in the background. Someone must be wise. But anyhow, I says, fine. So I took, we'll go ahead and do it. And so I took Steve. We went over to this TV station. And I says, now, Steve, look, let me tell you this. We're going to be on television now. And when you're on everything, you're on live. And believe me this, when you get on live, whatever they shoot, they cannot cut you off. You're going to be it. So he says, fine. So I gave him a script, and I said, see, Steve, and I don't know if you can see me there, but say my hand is this script. And I said, now, Steve, I want you to read this script. And I try to tell him in good English, and we practice to say it in real nice English. I was trying to get him to be somebody he wasn't, to be like the announcers. I says, you got to remember 5 things, the 5 W's, who, what, when, and where. So he says, I understand. You got to tell them what you are, who you are, what you're selling, and so on like that. And the last thing, you tell them where to go and how to find.
I tore up the script. That's what I did. I tore up the script. And that's how it started.
That's exactly
that
right.
lady from Washington U that called you up. Remember, she called you up.
That's right.
She says, go ahead, you tell her. You know how to tell it better than I do, George. You were the one that had to answer the phone.
Well, we were doing a half-hour show, and when he said he tore, when he tore up the script, he threw it down. I says, my gosh.
Tell him about that lady at Washington U. Her husband is a professor.
Well, I want to tell him the build-up to it.
Yeah,
the build-up. There's more to it than that. You know, when people do a television, you work in
George, my legs are hurting me.
I know. Well, go sit down and let me talk to Pat then.
Pete Parisi.
Pete Parisi. I'll get the. You know, I never could even remember your name half the time.
You got to sneeze my name.
But when we did the commercial, he threw the script away. It says, after all, I'm not an announcer. I'm an appliance salesman, and nobody can make me follow a script like this. So he pitched it, and he went up to the ice boxes and started slamming the doors around and just saying, blah, 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 this and that. And he says, you guys, he ended up, and you guys come down and see me and me brothers, and we'll give you the best deal no matter where you go at. Camera comes back to me. I said, that's our sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. Went in the commercial. He says, what do you think of that, George?
Terrible.
I says, the worst commercial I've ever seen, but if you can do it, you at least told him the truth. Go ahead, keep it doing the way in. And from then on, he did it anyway. Because I did notice at that time, the next commercial was a half-hour show. He went on another commercial. This time, all of the engineers came in the studio. I'm going to tell you.
I mean, we're ready to go. It's snowing outside and everything.
I don't care. Let it snow. You got me on camera. You can't get me off now, see?
George's camera shy.
Well, I told you get me going. You can't stop me. But after the second commercial came on, I noticed the girls from the office and the engineer, people was. The last commercial, the studio was crowded with just the people from around the station just watching him do this. And so after it was all over, I let him go on the thing.
I'm supposed to interview George, Pete.
You got me going now.
There
That's
you
tough. But you can edit this, no? You can cut me off real quick. You couldn't do that years ago. But after the last commercial, now I'm going to get to your part. They come up to me and they says, George, someone wants to talk to the producer of the show. Well, at that time, I was producing, I was emceeing, I was doing the whole work, something like you do, Pat. Understand? Pete. I'll get it right.
Pete Parisi.
Yeah.
Pete Parisi. Spell that, Pete.
Parisi.
Don't be confused.
He's getting me confused. Let's get back to your...
About that, tell him about the guy, the professor's wife that called from Washington University.
Now about the gal that called from Washington University. They call me, so someone wants to talk to the producer of that show. I says, okay, I'll be there. So this woman come on there, says, are you the producer of that show? I says, yes. She says, how in the world can you let a man get on our television and butcher the King's English like that man does? My husband's a professor of English at Washington University, and he is just killing it. And as she was saying this, I was trying to get an answer, and my mind was going wrong. That's why I had to tell you what I had to say. I just got thinking about it. Here he pitches the script. I tried to make an honest, good commercial man out of him, but when I thought about all these people coming in the studio and each one coming in, I says, my goodness gracious, they're sure paying attention to him. So I said to the lady, I says, ma'am, are you watching television now? She says, yes. I says, who's doing the commercials for you? I don't know, some cigarette commercial or something. I says, did you watch a show before this? She says, yes. Well, who sponsored that? Well, I'm not sure. We was just watching the show. I says, but you caught this one. I says, ma'am, you just told me something. You're going to see him on there like that a lot from now on. And I'm going to tell you another thing. You saw a man telling you the truth. He was telling you that he wasn't an announcer and that he was telling a salesman. He told you the truth.
What did they end up doing, George? A battery's going out on that.
Okay. But anyhow, we ended up going out, visiting them, and making speeches out at Washington.
From us. We had the best deal, George.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, listen, I want to say something. Steve, come over here a second here. We're getting near the end of our show. We've spent the whole day here with Steve Mizerany. We've been with two legends of St. Louis, Steve Mizerany, of course, and George Edick. So it's kind of like being in St. Louis television entertainment history. And we're just about done with our show now for today. Thanks for coming on the show today, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Pete.
You too, George.
Who never talks, and when I do talk, they can't shut me up. Thank you.
You're wonderful. You're beautiful. And I'll see you guys out on the coast. Ciao, baby. See you in L.A. or AC. AC stands for Atlantic City. I got to go now. Did you just pass some wind?
Yeah.
No. Oh, man, that smells. I got to go. Oh, that was Steve? No. Oh, okay. That was Steve. Okay, well, we got to go now. Goodbye. That's all for the show today.
Well, we did something a little bit different today. We had a walk down memory lane with some of St. Louis's great personalities. Slim Cox, Chuck Dorman, Uncle Leonard, George Edick, and of course our special guest, Steve Mizerany. Also appearing on tonight's show, Big Daddy. And helping us out, Dr. Biff Koplar and Larry Von Slees. Creative consultant, Mike Cosgrove. This is PEP saying thanks to all the people that were silly enough to be on our program tonight, and to all you people out there that were silly enough to watch it. We'll see you later. Goodbye.